And then, of course, there is the question of dosage, which is truly a mystical art. People try and dodge that by standardizing dosages and saying, this is how much you need to take for this, but really, dosage is a mystical art. It is the mystical art of how many times do I need to tell you, how frequently, and how loudly before you get it. That's really what it is. And there's some message. I mean, how many times have I said so sweetly to my son, chew with your lips shut, please? You know, he doesn't need to hear it as often as he used to. In fact, much later, like, how many times, like, could you not leave your shoes right in the middle of the doorway? Like, how many times? And this, I call it a mystical art because it's really a question of attuning to each client. Sometimes it's national, sometimes it's personal. Like, for instance, they find Japanese people need a much lower dosage of a much lower dosage over a much longer period of time. That's how it works. Israelis, you need like clobberhead doses. I need clobberhead doses. You want to get through to me on something? You gotta like come in and say, do you see what you're doing? You could sit down and rest now. And I go, oh. And then I keep on doing whatever I'm doing. And then like maybe, you know, fifth, sixth time it starts to dawn. Other people, you do that heavy-handed approach and they're almost offended. I don't know if you've had this experience, but I've certainly had clients who, if you give them too high a dosage, they will go out of their way to negate the formula. And sometimes even have opposite symptoms. It's like, hey, don't push me around, it's my body. You just have to like whisper to them, do you know, it might be possible to take a rest right now. I'm like, thank you. Essentially, how do I give matching funds to a latent capacity in somebody? Just enough to not overwhelm, but not underwhelm either. And this is an art, and it's a fiddling art. You know, we're feeling for it. What I notice is that if I'm even aware that there are these distinctions to be made and that it's something to pay attention to because we are in a resonance medicine, then I'm much more likely to be picking up on the kinds of cues that would give me a better guess than otherwise. I will fully admit, I am not a teacher who teaches through the path of certainty. What is that thing from Chuang Tzu about the sage steers by the path of chaos and doubt? I'm not claiming sagehood, but if I get there, that'll be the way. Always, my sense is that what we're doing is working with a subject which is so infinite. As Ted Kapchuk says, nobody knows Chinese herbs. It's not knowable. It's like Brooklyn. How could you ever say that you know Brooklyn? It's vast and mysterious, and there's always more to know. However, one can get to the point where one is not lost in Brooklyn. I know my way around Brooklyn. Or I know my way around Chinese medicine. And the richness of a practitionerhood by that is actually enriched by the sense of how much more I don't know, and how much more what I am proceeding on is my best sense. Because honestly, no matter how much certainty you have, what you're still proceeding on is your best sense. But the certainty can block out other bits of subtle data that otherwise might be informing us. Well, maybe, could that?